Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The annals of scientific discovery often reveal moments of profound serendipity, instances where the convergence of intuition, meticulous observation, and technological innovation births a new era of understanding. One such epochal moment transpired in the early 1920s in the laboratory of Hans Berger, a German psychiatrist whose name would become synonymous with the very electrical activity of the human brain. His journey, a testament to perseverance and intellectual courage, began with a question that had eluded scientists for centuries: how could one observe the inner workings of the mind without breaching the skull? Berger's quest commenced with a deeply personal impetus. A youthful encounter with a near-fatal riding accident had left him with a persistent fascination with the unseen forces that govern human consciousness. This youthful experience, coupled with the burgeoning interest in the nascent field of electrophysiology, fueled his ambition to find a method to record the electrical activity of the brain. The scientific community at the time possessed a limited understanding of the brain's electrical nature. Existing methods for studying the brain were invasive, often involving direct stimulation or lesioning of brain tissue, processes that offered little opportunity for observing the brain's natural, dynamic activity. This limitation presented a significant obstacle to understanding the brain's functions and how they might be disrupted in neurological diseases. The core of Berger's solution lay in a deceptively simple concept: the brain, like other biological systems, generates electrical signals. His innovation was the development of a non-invasive method to detect and record these faint electrical signals from the surface of the scalp. This was a radical departure from existing neurological practices. His approach was predicated on the idea that electrical activity, if detectable, could offer a window into the brain's inner workings. The technical challenges were considerable. The brain's electrical signals are extremely weak, measured in microvolts, making them easily obscured by background noise and interference. Moreover, the scalp and skull act as insulators, further attenuating the signals. Berger's initial experimental setup was a testament to his ingenuity and resourcefulness. He devised an ingenious system using electrodes, initially silver wires inserted under the scalp, later evolving to silver foil applied to the scalp surface, connected to a sensitive galvanometer. This instrument, designed to detect and measure minute electrical currents, was the heart of his recording apparatus. Amplification, the means to boost the weak signals, was achieved through a series of intricate, hand-built vacuum tube amplifiers. These early amplifiers, though primitive by modern standards, were crucial in making the faint brain signals visible. The culmination of Berger's efforts resulted in the first human electroencephalogram, or EEG, recorded in 1924. This was a watershed moment. The EEG, a graph depicting the brain's electrical activity over time, revealed a complex pattern of fluctuating waveforms. This initial recording, a raw representation of the brain's electrical symphony, marked the birth of a new era in neuroscience. The presence of these rhythmic oscillations, a pattern of electrical activity, was a revelation. One of the most striking features in the initial EEG recordings was the presence of a prominent wave pattern, which Berger, after further investigation, would identify as the alpha rhythm. This rhythmic oscillation, typically with a frequency of 8 to 13 cycles per second, was most pronounced when the subject was relaxed with their eyes closed. This discovery was significant because it suggested that the brain was continuously generating electrical activity, even in the absence of external stimuli. It provided the first clear indication of a dynamic, internally generated electrical landscape within the brain. The impact of Berger's work on modern medicine and research is profound and enduring. The EEG remains an indispensable tool in clinical neurology. Its primary applications include the diagnosis and monitoring of epilepsy, a neurological disorder characterized by recurrent seizures. The EEG can identify the abnormal electrical discharges that characterize epileptic seizures, allowing for accurate diagnosis and treatment. Furthermore, the EEG is used to diagnose and understand sleep disorders, brain injuries, and various other neurological conditions. It has provided invaluable insights into the mechanisms of consciousness, cognitive processes, and the effects of medications on brain function. The development of the EEG can be partially attributed to the prior work of physiologists who were exploring the electrical phenomena of biological systems, specifically the work of Hermann von Helmholtz, a pioneer in the study of bioelectricity, provided the foundational understanding of the electrical nature of nerve impulses. Helmholtz's meticulous work on the electrical properties of nerves and muscles, including the development of instruments for measuring electrical potentials, served as an indirect yet important influence on Berger's work. His contributions to the field of electrophysiology provided a theoretical framework and methodological precedent for Berger's investigations into the electrical activity of the brain. Helmholtz's research demonstrated the feasibility of measuring electrical signals in biological systems, which in turn paved the way for Berger's ambitious project. The immediate impact of Berger's work was somewhat limited. His findings were initially met with skepticism and resistance from the scientific community. The technical challenges of recording and interpreting the faint brain signals, the lack of established protocols, and the novelty of the concept contributed to the initial slow acceptance of his work. However, the inherent value of his discovery, the potential to non-invasively study the brain, gradually gained recognition. The legacy of Hans Berger extends far beyond the initial recording of the human EEG. His pioneering work laid the groundwork for a new field of scientific inquiry. His methods and findings inspired subsequent generations of neuroscientists and neurologists. The EEG, initially a crude instrument, has evolved into a sophisticated tool refined through advancements in electronics, signal processing, and computer technology. The fundamental principles established by Berger, the concept of recording and analyzing brain waves, remain central to the practice of clinical neurology and the ongoing exploration of the human brain. His persistent efforts, his ingenuity in the face of technical challenges, and his unwavering belief in the potential of his method have secured his place as one of the great pioneers of neuroscience. His work stands as a powerful testament to the enduring impact of scientific curiosity and the transformative power of innovation. Berger's methodology, born from his unwavering determination, was a testament to his meticulous approach. He faced the formidable challenge of extracting faint electrical signals from the human brain, signals buried amidst a cacophony of environmental noise and physiological artifacts. His initial experiments, conducted in the late 1920s, were hampered by the limitations of available technology. The signals were weak, often obscured by electrical interference from the environment and the subject's own movements. The intellectual landscape preceding Berger's work included advancements in understanding electrical phenomena in biological systems. The work of Luigi Galvani and Alessandro Volta, centuries prior, laid the groundwork for understanding the electrical nature of nerve and muscle activity. Their discoveries, demonstrating the capacity of electricity to stimulate muscular contractions, presented the possibility of investigating the electrical activity of the brain. Further, the development of sensitive galvanometers, instruments designed to measure minute electric currents, provided the tools needed to detect the brain's subtle electrical emanations. These instruments, refined over time, allowed for increasingly precise measurements of electrical activity. Similarly, the development of vacuum tube amplifiers provided the means to amplify the weak signals detected by the galvanometer, making them visible and measurable. These advancements, in essence, created the preconditions for Berger's work. Berger's experimental setup, therefore, was a marvel of ingenuity given the limitations of the era. He employed electrodes, typically silver wires, carefully positioned on the scalp of his subjects. These electrodes were connected to a sensitive galvanometer, an instrument that registered tiny electrical currents. The galvanometer's deflections were recorded on a moving paper strip, creating a visual record of the brain's electrical activity. The amplification of the signals was a critical step. Berger utilized vacuum tube amplifiers to magnify the faint electrical signals, rendering them detectable. He also employed a variety of techniques to minimize interference, including shielding the recording equipment from external electrical noise. The core of Berger's methodology involved the systematic analysis of these recorded brain waves. He meticulously studied the patterns, seeking to correlate them with a subject's mental state and physiological condition. This involved a rigorous process of filtering and analyzing the data. He had to differentiate between genuine brain signals and artifacts such as those arising from eye movements, muscle contractions, or electrical interference. The techniques were, by today's standards, rudimentary. The fundamental principles of signal processing were understood. Berger applied these principles to his data, carefully removing or minimizing the impact of artifacts. A pivotal aspect of Berger's work was his careful control of experimental conditions. He recognized the importance of standardized procedures and meticulous record-keeping. He conducted experiments on various subjects, including family members, and meticulously documented every detail of the experimental setup, the subject's state of mind, and the resulting brainwave patterns. This systematic approach allowed him to observe consistent patterns and correlate them with specific states of consciousness. A crucial discovery was the identification of distinct wave frequencies within the EEG recordings. Berger observed that the brain's electrical activity was characterized by rhythmic oscillations. He identified and characterized several distinct frequency bands, the most prominent being the alpha rhythm, with a frequency range of approximately 8 to 12 cycles per second. This rhythm was most prominent when the subject was relaxed with their eyes closed. When the subject opened their eyes or engaged in mental activity, the alpha rhythm typically diminished or disappeared, replaced by faster, less regular waves. This observation, a fundamental discovery, established a direct correlation between brainwave patterns and the subject's state of consciousness. The reception of Berger's work was initially met with skepticism. The scientific community, accustomed to more invasive methods of studying the brain, found it difficult to accept the possibility of recording brain activity non-invasively. The technical challenges and the lack of readily available equipment also contributed to the slow adoption of his methods. However, Berger persevered, tirelessly promoting his findings and refining his techniques. The impact of Berger's methodological rigor extends to modern EEG analysis. His emphasis on careful experimental design, artifact rejection, and systematic data analysis continues to inform the practice of electroencephalography. The development of sophisticated signal processing techniques, inspired by Berger's pioneering work, has revolutionized EEG analysis. Algorithms are now used to automatically detect and remove artifacts, improving the accuracy and reliability of EEG recordings. The classification of brain waves into distinct frequency bands, a cornerstone of Berger's work, remains central to the interpretation of EEG data. The alpha, beta, theta, and delta frequency bands, each associated with specific brain states, are routinely analyzed in clinical and research settings. The influence of earlier work on electrical measurements was crucial to the development of Berger's experimental setup. The development of sensitive galvanometers and vacuum tube amplifiers, which provided the means to detect and amplify weak electrical signals, was essential for his work. These instruments, refined over time, allow Berger to measure the subtle electrical activity of the brain. Berger's methods laid the foundation for standardized EEG techniques and protocols used worldwide. His emphasis on controlled experiments influenced the evolution of clinical practices. The methodology he pioneered, with its emphasis on precise measurements, meticulous record-keeping, and rigorous data analysis, provided a model for subsequent researchers. His work, therefore, played a vital role in the development of modern clinical neurology. Hans Berger's pioneering efforts, while initially directed toward understanding fundamental brain function, quickly revealed their potential for clinical application, marking a pivotal shift in neurological diagnostics. The central problem he confronted was the absence of a non-invasive method to study and diagnose epilepsy, a condition marked by unpredictable seizures that defied easy observation and study. The prevailing medical understanding of epilepsy was limited, often relying on patient observation and anecdotal evidence. Berger sought to provide a more objective, quantifiable approach. The core of Berger's clinical breakthrough resided in his ability to correlate specific electroencephalographic patterns with the occurrence of epileptic seizures. This correlation was a direct consequence of his meticulous recording and analysis of brain activity. His work built directly upon his earlier identification of the alpha rhythm, a prominent wave pattern that appeared during states of relaxed wakefulness. By extending his investigations, he discovered that the brain activity of individuals with epilepsy exhibited distinct characteristic irregularities. A crucial element of his clinical work was the identification of the spike in wave pattern, a specific EEG signature associated with epileptic seizures. This pattern, composed of sharp, high-amplitude spikes followed by slower, rhythmic waves, became a hallmark of generalized seizure activity. Berger meticulously documented the presence and characteristics of these patterns, both during and between seizure episodes. He painstakingly analyzed the temporal dynamics of these patterns, noting their frequency, amplitude, and distribution across the scalp. This detailed analysis provided the first objective, measurable evidence of the electrical disturbances associated with epilepsy. A concrete example of his work involved the detailed documentation and analysis of EEG recordings from patients experiencing epileptic seizures. Berger would carefully observe the patient during a seizure, correlating their clinical presentation with the recorded EEG activity. He would note the onset and duration of the seizure, the types of movements exhibited, and any associated symptoms. Simultaneously, he would analyze the EEG tracings, looking for the characteristic spike in wave patterns. His ability to link specific EEG patterns with clinical events was a major advance, offering a new way to understand the underlying mechanisms of epilepsy. The interpretation of EEG data, however, presented significant challenges. Distinguishing between normal and pathological brain activity demanded considerable skill and experience. Berger had to develop criteria for identifying abnormal patterns, differentiating between benign variations and those indicative of underlying neurological disorders. The process required a rigorous approach, demanding that he establish clear baselines and develop methods for comparing individual EEG recordings. His attention to detail, coupled with his methodical approach, allowed him to overcome these hurdles and establish the foundations of clinical EEG interpretation. Berger's insights into epilepsy laid the groundwork for modern diagnostic and therapeutic approaches. The identification of specific EEG patterns associated with different seizure types provided clinicians with a powerful tool for diagnosis, monitoring, and treatment planning. His work directly influenced the development of anti-epileptic medications. By providing a means to objectively assess the efficacy of these drugs, he helped transform the treatment of epilepsy. The ability to monitor brain activity allowed physicians to tailor treatments to individual patients, improving outcomes and reducing the incidence of uncontrolled seizures. The development of the scientific instruments themselves was a crucial precursor to Berger's work. The ability to measure small electrical signals was essential. The development of sensitive galvanometers, devices capable of detecting and measuring small electrical currents, provided the initial means to observe electrical activity. These were later augmented by the introduction of vacuum tube amplifiers, which amplified the weak electrical signals generated by the brain, allowing for more detailed and accurate recordings. These technological advancements, which were the product of the collective efforts of numerous scientists and engineers across various disciplines, provided the necessary tools for Berger's groundbreaking work. Berger's methodology played a vital role in the establishment of standardized EEG techniques and protocols. His emphasis on controlled experiments, meticulous record-keeping, and rigorous data analysis set a standard for subsequent researchers. His approach, with its focus on precise measurements and quantitative analysis, provided a model for the evolution of clinical practices. The establishment of standardized procedures was critical for ensuring the reliability and reproducibility of EEG results, which was essential for its widespread acceptance by the medical community. The impact of Berger's work extended beyond the initial diagnosis of epilepsy. It provided a framework for understanding the underlying mechanisms of the disease. His studies of EEG patterns during and between seizures contributed to a deeper understanding of the electrical disturbances that underlie the condition. This knowledge was later used to develop more targeted treatments for epilepsy and other neurological disorders. Berger's research directly influenced the development of more targeted treatments. The ability to identify specific EEG patterns associated with different seizure types allowed for the development of more effective medications tailored to the individual patient's needs. This marked a significant shift from the use of generalized treatments to more personalized approaches, leading to improved seizure control and enhanced quality of life for individuals with epilepsy. His influence also extended to the study of brain activity. His work provided the foundation for subsequent investigations into the electrical activity of the brain in a wide range of neurological and psychiatric disorders. His methods and insights have been applied to the study of sleep disorders, cognitive function, and other areas of neuroscience, demonstrating the enduring impact of his pioneering contributions. The initial reception of Hans Berger's groundbreaking work was far from enthusiastic. His findings, which today are foundational to the field of neurophysiology, were met with considerable skepticism and resistance from the scientific and medical communities. This reluctance was a complex phenomenon, born from a confluence of factors that hampered the rapid acceptance of his revolutionary ideas. One of the primary obstacles was the nascent state of the technology itself. The electroencephalogram, a device Berger himself had painstakingly developed, was a delicate and complex instrument. Its sensitivity was such that even minor environmental disturbances could generate artifacts, leading to spurious readings. The interpretation of the resulting electroencephalograms, or EEG, required a level of expertise that he possessed, further complicating the validation of his claims. The lack of standardized methodologies and the absence of established protocols for data analysis added to the uncertainty surrounding the validity of his findings. The scientific community, accustomed to more established methods, was understandably wary of embracing a technique that seemed so prone to error and required such specialized skill. Furthermore, Berger's work challenged the prevailing understanding of brain function. At the time, the dominant view held that the brain's activity was primarily chemical in nature, with electrical phenomena playing a secondary, if any, role. His assertion that the brain generated measurable electrical signals was a radical departure from this established paradigm. It was a proposition that flew in the face of prevailing intellectual currents, and thus it encountered resistance from those who adhered to existing theories. The scientific community often operates on the principle of conservatism, with new ideas facing scrutiny and requiring rigorous validation before widespread acceptance. Berger's claims, while compelling, needed to overcome this inherent skepticism. A concrete example of the resistance Berger faced can be found in the delayed acceptance of his findings and the difficulties he experienced in publishing his work. His initial attempts to disseminate his results were met with considerable difficulty. Journals, the primary vehicles for scientific communication, were hesitant to publish his papers, fearing the implications of such unconventional claims. His work was initially viewed with suspicion, and the lack of readily available confirmation from other laboratories further hindered its acceptance. The process of peer review, which is essential for the validation of scientific findings, proved to be a considerable challenge. The reviewers, often experts in fields other than electrophysiology, struggled to comprehend the significance of his work leading to delays in revisions. This difficulty in publication highlights the initial opposition Berger had to overcome. The outbreak of World War I and its aftermath further exacerbated the challenges Berger faced. The war years brought with them a disruption of scientific infrastructure and a reduction in resources available for research. The focus shifted to wartime applications, and funding for basic scientific research was often scarce. The war's impact extended beyond the immediate disruption of resources. It also created an atmosphere of uncertainty and instability that made it difficult for new ideas to gain traction. The scientific community, already hesitant to embrace Berger's work, was further burdened by the demands of the war and its aftermath. The importance of peer review and scientific rigor, which Berger's work highlighted, remains a critical aspect of scientific progress. Peer review is a process where experts in a field critically evaluate research before publication. This process helps to ensure the accuracy and validity of scientific findings and to prevent the dissemination of erroneous or misleading information. The slow dissemination of scientific knowledge, as exemplified by Berger's experience, emphasizes the need for robust validation processes and the importance of open communication within the scientific community. The challenges Berger faced underscore the inherent conservatism of science and the need for patience and persistence in the face of initial skepticism. Specific individuals played a significant role in shaping the initial reception of Berger's work, both through their skepticism and their subsequent validation. One of the most prominent figures who initially challenged Berger's findings was Robert Magnus, a professor of physiology at the University of Munich. Magnus, a respected figure in the field of neurophysiology, expressed reservations about the validity of Berger's EEG recordings. He questioned the technical aspects of the equipment and the interpretation of the resulting data. His arguments, rooted in the limitations of the technology and the lack of established methods, reflected the broader skepticism within the scientific community. His critiques, while challenging, prompted Berger to refine his methods and strengthen his arguments. Another individual who initially expressed reservations was Sir Henry Dale, a Nobel laureate in physiology or medicine. Dale, a leading figure in the field of neuropharmacology, was initially hesitant to accept Berger's claims. His skepticism, based on the prevailing understanding of brain function, reflected the broader resistance to the idea of measurable electrical activity in the brain. Dale's doubts, while not entirely dismissive, highlighted the need for substantial evidence to support such a radical proposition. The eventual validation of Berger's work, however, came from other researchers who recognized its significance. The turning point arrived when Edgar Adrian, a renowned physiologist at the University of Cambridge, began to replicate Berger's experiments and confirm his findings. Adrian, a pioneer in the study of nerve impulses, was intrigued by Berger's work and recognized its potential. He meticulously replicated Berger's experiments using improved equipment and rigorous methodologies. Adrian's confirmation, published in a series of influential papers, provided the scientific community with the validation it needed. His endorsement, based on independent verification of Berger's results, was a turning point. Another influential figure was Herbert Jasper, a Canadian neurophysiologist. Jasper, working independently of Adrian, began to explore the clinical applications of EEG. He demonstrated the utility of the technique in the diagnosis of epilepsy and other neurological disorders. His work, which built upon Berger's foundation, helped to establish EEG as a valuable diagnostic tool. His contributions illustrated the practical applications of Berger's work. The subsequent widespread adoption of EEG as a diagnostic tool demonstrated the enduring impact of Berger's work. The technique quickly became an indispensable part of neurological practice, allowing clinicians to diagnose and monitor a wide range of brain disorders. The validation of Berger's work by Adrian and Jasper paved the way for the widespread acceptance of EEG. The scientific community, once skeptical, embraced the technology and its applications. Berger's persistence in the face of initial skepticism was a defining characteristic of his scientific career. He steadfastly defended his findings, refining his methods and accumulating evidence to support his claims. His unwavering commitment to his research, even when faced with resistance, was crucial to the eventual acceptance of his work. His dedication to his work, despite the initial challenges, influenced the trajectory of scientific progression. He demonstrated the importance of perseverance and the value of pursuing unconventional ideas. His legacy is a testament to the power of human curiosity and the transformative potential of scientific innovation. The enduring legacy of Hans Berger resides in his transformative contributions to the understanding of the human brain. His pioneering efforts, initially met with considerable reservation, ultimately reshaped the landscape of neurology and medicine. The electroencephalogram, born from his relentless curiosity and meticulous experimentation, evolved from a novel technique to an essential diagnostic tool. The journey from Berger's early observations to the widespread adoption of the EEG exemplifies the dynamic interplay between scientific innovation, rigorous validation, and the gradual acceptance of revolutionary ideas. Berger's persistence, a hallmark of his scientific endeavor, proved essential. He confronted skepticism with unwavering resolve, refining his methodologies and amassing compelling evidence to support his assertions. The scientific community, initially hesitant, eventually embraced the technology and its applications. This shift underscores the critical role of perseverance in scientific progress. It underscores the courage required to challenge established paradigms and the importance of remaining steadfast in the face of adversity. Berger's unwavering commitment served as an inspiring example for generations of neuroscientists. The impact of Berger's work extends far beyond the confines of the laboratory. The EDG became an indispensable instrument in clinical practice, enabling clinicians to diagnose and monitor a broad spectrum of neurological disorders, from epilepsy to sleep disorders, from brain tumors to traumatic brain injuries. The EDG provided an unprecedented window into the electrical activity of the brain. This ability to visualize and analyze brainwave patterns revolutionized the way neurological conditions were understood, diagnosed, and treated. The EDG became an integral component of patient care, offering insights that were previously unimaginable. The validation of Berger's work by Richard Cattern and subsequently by Adrian and Jasper proved pivotal. Their endorsement provided the crucial scientific credibility that facilitated the widespread acceptance of EDG within the medical community. Adrian, with his expertise in neurophysiology, meticulously replicated Berger's experiments and confirmed the validity of his findings. This collaborative validation was a critical factor in accelerating the transition of EDG from a theoretical concept to a practical reality. The endorsement from these influential figures helped to dispel initial doubts and pave the way for the technology's integration into clinical practice. Their work helped to solidify the scientific foundation of EDG. The evolution of EDG technology has been continuous. Refinements in electrode design, signal amplification, and data analysis techniques have significantly enhanced the precision and diagnostic capabilities of the EDG. The advent of computer-based analysis has accelerated the interpretation of complex brainwave patterns, allowing for more accurate and timely diagnosis. The development of advanced imaging techniques, such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, and magnetoencephalography, or MEG, has further expanded our ability to study brain function. These technologies, while distinct from EDG, often complement each other, providing a more comprehensive understanding of brain activity. The ongoing advancements in EDG technology demonstrate the field's dynamism. The influence of Berger's work extends beyond the realm of clinical medicine. The EEG has become an invaluable tool in basic neuroscience research, providing valuable insights into the fundamental mechanisms of brain function. It allows scientists to study the neural correlates of a wide range of cognitive processes, from attention and memory to language and emotion. The EDG provides a non-invasive means of investigating the dynamic interplay between different brain regions. It is a valuable tool for the study of neural oscillations, which are thought to play a crucial role in cognitive processing. The EDG provides a window into the brain's electrical rhythms. The enduring relevance of Berger's work is undeniable. The EDG continues to play a central role in the diagnosis and management of neurological disorders. As technology advances, the potential for new applications of EDG continues to grow. The development of portable EEG devices, for example, is expanding the possibility of long-term monitoring in both clinical and research settings. The integration of EDG with other neuroimaging techniques promises to yield even deeper insights into brain function. The future of EDG is bright. The story of Hans Berger serves as a profound reminder of the power of scientific inquiry. His unwavering dedication to his research, despite initial skepticism, underscores the importance of intellectual curiosity and the transformative potential of scientific innovation. His persistence in the face of adversity provides a powerful lesson in the value of perseverance. His legacy continues to inspire scientists and clinicians alike. Looking ahead, several avenues for future research promise to build upon Berger's foundation. The development of more sophisticated signal processing techniques will enhance the ability to extract meaningful information from EEG data. The application of machine learning algorithms to EEG analysis holds the potential to revolutionize the diagnosis and treatment of neurological disorders. The exploration of the neural basis of consciousness using EEG in conjunction with other neuroimaging techniques remains a central focus of research. The exploration of brain-computer interfaces, or BCI, which utilize EEG signals to control external devices, offers the prospect of new assistive technologies for individuals with motor impairments. The future holds great promise for EEG research. Berger's work continues to resonate in the 21st century. His pioneering efforts lay the groundwork for a field that has profoundly impacted the understanding of the human brain and the treatment of neurological disorders. His legacy is a testament to the power of scientific curiosity, the importance of perseverance, and the transformative potential of innovation. His willingness to challenge conventional wisdom and to pursue unconventional ideas has left an enduring mark on the scientific landscape. His contributions continue to shape the future of neuroscience and medicine. The enduring impact of Hans Berger is undeniable.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.